A common table expression, or CTE, is one of the most useful features in SQL because it allows you to break a query into smaller, named building blocks. You write a CTE with the keyword WIF, followed by the name you want to give it, then the word AS, and then you wrap a subquery in parentheses. This creates a temporary result set that you can reference later in your main query as if it were a table. The big advantage of using a CTE is readability. Instead of one massive query that is hard to follow, you can define logical steps up front and then select from them cleanly in the final statement. There are three major use cases. First, you can break a long query into smaller parts, making it much easier to understand and maintain. Second, you can reuse the same logic multiple times without copying and pasting the same subquery everywhere. And third, you can make your queries more organized by naming each step in a way that clearly describes the logic. There are a few syntax details that are important to get right. If you want to define multiple CTEs at once, you separate them with commas, but you do not put a comma after the last one. The main query always starts right after the CTE block, and it must select from one of the CTE names you defined. The scope of a CTE is only the query it is attached to, which means it disappears after that statement runs. Another point is that CTEs are not permanent tables. They are temporary, and they only exist for the duration of the query. This makes them lightweight and safe to use for experiments or for cleaning up messy logic. When using AI tools, it helps to be very explicit. Tell the AI the name you want to give the CTE, what logic should go inside it, and which columns you want to use in the final select. Also remind it that commas go between CTEs but not after the last one, because AI sometimes gets that wrong. A best practice is to give your CTEs descriptive names that explain what they do. For example, us_customers or high_value_orders instead of generic names like CTE1. That way, when you or someone else reads the query later, it will be obvious what each part means. To summarize, a CTE is written with WIF and AS. It lets you define temporary named results, it improves readability, it supports multiple definitions separated by commas, and it makes complex queries much easier to manage. Mastering CTEs early will make your SQL cleaner, clearer, and easier to debug.